Beauty is often found in the smallest objects. The art of capturing the beauty of a small detail in a photo is known as macro photography. For the best results, it's preferable to use special lenses. However, this also means to deliberately play with the aperture and shutter speed. In this tutorial, we're using the Nikon D80 SLR, mostly with the Micro Nikon 105mm, a special macro lens. You can, however, use any other Nikon SLR camera for macro photography. We'll also be showing you how to work with the 10.5 fisheye lens, with the 18 200mm zoom Nikon, and with a handy accessory, the DR6 right-angle viewfinder. You can find macro subjects everywhere you look, in nature, but also close to home, in the garden or a park. An exceptionally attractive park where hundreds of thousands of tourists from all over the world come to enjoy the springtime flowers every year is the Keukenhof in Lisse, the Netherlands. The easiest way to start is to rotate the camera's mode dial to the macro symbol. The camera now automatically focuses on the subject in the center focus area. The Digital Vary program ensures the ideal combination of shutter speed and aperture. The 105mm micro Nikon is what is known as the vibration reduction or VR lens, with a system that compensates for camera shake. On a sunny day like today, we can therefore take handheld photos. The key is to look carefully and not to be afraid to kneel down. If we have to lie flat on the ground for a beautiful photo, then we should. It doesn't matter what that passerby is thinking. We're now going to see how we can influence the depth of field in our shots. We set the mode dial to A, the aperture priority auto mode. The larger the aperture, the shorter the depth of field. Because we often select longer exposure times, we're using a tripod and a remote control shutter release. This is to prevent camera shake. As with the camera shutter release button, we press the remote control shutter release button halfway in order to focus automatically. This is a shot with a 1/15 second shutter speed and f/22 aperture. A crystal clear focused shot, but the background is still a bit too restless. We achieved this shot by opening up the aperture considerably and reducing the shutter speed. With a moving background, we can choose a slower shutter speed, thus blurring the background. It can sometimes be useful to focus manually. We decide for ourselves which part of the composition will be in focus and which will be unfocused. On many cameras, we can check the depth of field by first setting the aperture value and then pressing and holding the depth of field preview button. The image in the viewfinder becomes darker because there's now less light entering through the lens. This is how we take a photo with the desired focal graduation. Close-up photography doesn't require the use of a small telephoto lens, such as our 105mm micro Nikon. We can intentionally incorporate a clearly defined background into our photos by using a wide-angle lens. We mount the 18 200mm zoom Nikon on our camera body, which gives us a range from wide-angle to telephoto. For this shot, we're very close to the ground, so we're using the DR6 right-angle viewfinder. Make sure the right-angle viewing attachment fits your particular type of camera. For cameras with a round viewing eyepiece, there's the DR5 right-angle viewfinder. Now we can choose a really low viewpoint. Periscope of the right-angle viewfinder can be rotated to view the frame in portrait format. This switch allows us to magnify the center of the frame and to control focusing even more precisely. Working with the wide-angle lens can give astounding results. With the Nikon 10.5 fisheye lens, we can approach the subject extremely closely. The fisheye lens provides a characteristic visual distortion if you position the horizon above or below the framed image. The art of taking a successful macro photo is to look carefully at form and color. If possible, walk around your subject and seek out that uniquely surprising combination of color and form. Search for the soul of the subject. Forms and colors are infinitely enchanting. With just one small subject, you can create a whole universe of highly diverse photos. By moving just a fraction closer, or retreating slightly, by playing with the depth of field, with the backlighting, or by crawling right into the heart of a detail. Nature has its seasons, and each season has its own particular macro subjects. In part 2 of the macro photography tutorial, you'll discover how to photograph small insects and butterflies, how to capture the seasonal secrets of a dusky autumn with a bag of rice as a tripod and an extra flash unit.